Uh, I think that grammar schools are our worst kind of school in England, and actually worse than the most expensive and elitist private schools, worse than other things. And the reason for this is that they've selected 11-year-olds together on the basis of a supposed intelligence test. What then happens is that these 11, 12, 13-year-olds, it's like Brave New World. They're told that they're special. They're told that they're clever. They're told that they're different. I go and do many, many talks in schools, now all by Zoom. Um, the most vicious questions I get, and this is on average, the kind of survival of the fittest questions, the questions that imply how little the young people think of others, are from state grammar school pupils. I get nicer attitudes and questions from very expensive private schools. And the last school I would ever let any of my children near would be a grammar school, because it teaches you from that selection that there are alpha, beta, delta, gamma children, and that you are one of the alpha children, and other of your society are subnormal compared, if you like, to you. It's a terrible, terrible thing to do to children, and we don't do enough. This is and on. We don't do enough to talk about the harm that we create through our segregated system to the children who go to the grammar schools and the children who go to private schools. Lastly, remember, many children who go to private schools have failed a test. They failed a test to go to the selective private school. It can happen at the age of 4 or 5, and they're in effect, their parents are paying for them to go to a posh secondary modern. And they grow up with a feeling of failure because they couldn't quite get into the poshest private school in town. And I know some of my left wing friends will say, how can you have pity for well off people? But it's all very, very sad compared to, and not just Finland, Germany, where you just, you know, and I know they do divide later in Germany, but it's not done in the same way. And this creates a dislocated society. And if you're dislocated from your peer group in childhood, it's very hard for that not to re-emerge again and again in the rest of your life. And we've just got to get away from this. Brilliant education is not harmed by sitting next to typical people in a classroom. It doesn't dull your ability later to do anything. Um, we've got to get people away from that fear that their children's future will be damaged if they actually go to school with children who also live on the same street as them.